Really exciting news tonight as Americans await and get their purple power ready for the fight of their lives over the next 7 days as a vote is imminent in the second stimulus package. And as many now believe the vote will turn to law. But as we start the new week, the naysayers, the negativity will be around us. And we can't let the Temple of Doom overtake the purple power. Hey, good evening, everybody. This is Alec with another special report of Purple Power versus Pelosi. The false narrative of the Speaker of the House has heated up all last week, but this coming week will be something like you've never seen before. It's a great Sunday evening as we start a new week because of the Purple Power. We're going into a new week with Republicans and Democrats, House and Senators, all calling for a vote on the record, all stating they want to vote on a second stimulus package, and some privately saying it's going to get passed. But it's now and never for us to really ramp up and show that the power of the purple can get this to the finish line. For the first time this evening, we're going to detail what's going to happen next week because it's going to be a lot of false narratives. False narratives are where people tell you something which is really not what's happening, so you don't do anything in your own accord. But if there was ever time to like and subscribe to this channel, it's tonight. This is Evenings LA, part of our 1-hour programming block starting every day at 6:30 with The Check, which was right before this, and then this special. Go to the front channel and subscribe. It's great to have you part of this incredible community. 260,000 subscribers for a reason. We are a strong community of people who have a focus to get through this together. Also, like this video because it really helps with the algorithm. You know, if you're new to this channel and just recently subscribed, you may not know where this channel came from. Well, on April 25th, this channel launched, and it launched because people were having problems with the pandemic and getting things that they were due under the first stimulus package. We were due PPP, EIDL grants, EIDL loans, and PUA was just going live. It had not launched at the time. And I pressed record that very first day on April 25th for about 4 or 5 videos because I realized that I had people saying to me, I've not gotten a penny for this EIDL grant thing. What is this? At the time, people had filled out an application which said, in 3 days you are to get your money. It's sort of like what we're dealing now with the stimulus check. In 3 days, you're to get your money. 3 days passed, 3 weeks passed. It felt like 3 months, but it was a month and a half. No one got a penny. It wasn't just like, friends, and no one really got a penny. They never sent out checks. I came on and said, hey, stay calm. You're going to get your check. Stay positive. You're going to get your check. No one ever said that to people. Rather, what people had done before I came along was saying, you're never going to get your check. You're never going to get your check. You're never going to get your check. And those people gave up. I came along and said, you're going to get your check. I did too much with the hands also. Then I had people with the loans that weren't getting money for the loans. And I said, you'll get your loans. Let's get through it. They eventually got everything. Within a few days, people started getting everything. Tonight, the situation is the same for the Purple Power. The Purple Power, which didn't even have a name then, had bombshell and everything else, is now focusing on another path. It's the path of what's happening this coming week. The path this coming week is to put a second stimulus package to a vote. There's a lot in even that sentence, putting a second stimulus package to a vote. Which package? How is it getting to a vote? And everything that goes around it. As I say the sentence, I know you have visuals as well. Putting it to a vote, but she doesn't. And then the package, well, is it her? All that. Why is that such a scary sentence to even say for some people? Because we have been told to follow the words of only one person. This is not a monarchy. This is not a destiny or, the Colbys or, Falcon Crest. This is not an evening drama. When did this become that one person tells us everything? Are we? This is like a serfdom, where the kingdom opens the thing and says, and it talks to the little serfs on the street. No. So I understand the notion of that. What's important to understand is going into next week, Republicans and Democrats, senators and House representatives have finally got a spine. They finally got a backbone. And in the last 24, 48 hours, 72 hours, they've all said, we're doing a vote next week. Amen. Amen. So we have that. We understand that. I did that in last night's video. We have a vote coming on next week is what they're representing to us. Here's the other side of that curtain. The other side of that curtain is a very, very false negative, disconnected person by the name of Nancy Pelosi, who says that her caucus is aligned and nothing's changing. That's not true. That's not true, Nancy. Your own Democrats have gone on the record saying there's going to be a vote next week. So stop saying that untrue statement to the American people. They have literally gone on broadcast news, print media with their name, quote, it's not off the record. They said, no, we're calling a vote next week. We don't care what she's saying. So there's that first thing you need to understand going next week is the false narratives that are going to be fed to you by her will continue. Guarantee as soon as Monday starts, you're going to hear her say, I'm not moving, don't come to me unless I reject it, I dispel it, I cast it away, I throw it into the sea, I make lasagna with it, I make pomegranate juice with it. It's just, she's going to say something about something negative. Are you going to drop in the comments what she said about it? You better not. It's going to get deleted. Nancy said on ABC that she rejects delete. Who cares what she says? Who cares what she says? Does she determine your fate? No. Is she determining the fate of these people who are putting this up for a vote who are in her own party? No. But does she want you to just sort of roll over and have her decide what you are to do with your second stimulus package? Oh, yeah. Does she want you to believe that everything is determined by her? Oh, yes. Are you hypnotized? No, you're not hypnotized. You're not hypnotized. You're not hypnotized by her. That's the power of the purple. The power of the purple is knowing that knowing the information, knowing the procedural situation, knowing how things are done. So if you see a comment from someone like that drops in the comments, nothing's going to happen because Nancy doesn't, and I don't delete it, you respond back and says, no, that's just not true. That's just not true. Stop pushing that fake narrative. That's just not true. All right, so then the next step, and this is what's really exciting, the next step is there some sort of partisan issue about getting the stimulus package approved? People have asked, what is the purple power? Is it Republican? Is it Democrat? Purple is red and blue. Purple is made by the combination of the colors of red and blue. And purple power is not partisan. Purple power is based upon the principle of basically people are entitled to stimulus and that they should have gotten stimulus a very long time ago, and that's no one standing up for them to speak for them to get their stimulus. The situation tonight is very troubling. Earlier today, Nancy Pelosi went on press, and guess what she talked about? Stimulus? No, of course not. RBG? Yeah, a little bit of Ruth Bader Ginsburg stuff. Just a little bit. No, what's she talking about? A new impeachment hearing. Is that a priority at the moment? No. Is that even a slight bit of a priority at the moment? No. Why is this woman so obsessed with doing scandal things and not getting you stimulus first? I mean, you can do as many scandals because maybe, Melrose Place reruns are not on. But why? We first changed the postman and that went nowhere. Now we're going to do another impeachment. Okay, how about we get our stimulus first before you start talking about all this other stuff? That's the problem. And the problem is that the discussion is going off of stimulus because of one person, and you need to keep it on stimulus. So the Power of Purple should be focused the following way next week. You should be on social media, you should be on Facebook and Twitter, and you should be tagging and behind the problem solvers. You should be tagging and behind the Blue Dogs and the New Age Coalition. You should say, I support you. Let's get it for a vote. Let's do it right now. Let's get it done. Here's the deadline. You could be tagging the airlines, United, American, Delta. I support you. Let's get you part of the stimulus package. Let's get this done by October 1st. I don't want I don't want airline employees to be laid off, and I also don't want my stimulus check to be lost. I need this relief, and you need this relief. Let's come together and let's be nonpartisan. Let's be part of the Purple Power and get this done. That's what you do. That's the power of positivity, and that's the power of information. You know, these airlines have an incredible problem. Their earnings are down 85% year to date, and they can't pay their employees, and they're about to lay them off. They have to make a decision by October 1st under federal law because they furloughed them, and that date is coming up on October 1st. So they have to get their part of the second stimulus. They have to jump into the second stimulus package and get the second stimulus package signed by the president into law by October 1st. If they don't, the airline industry collapses. Thousands of employees are laid off. It's not a situation anyone wants. We don't want it for them. And I'm sure they don't want you not to go without your stimulus check. So at a time like this that people can be bipartisan, now is the time. Stimulus checks, FPUC, PPP, EIDL grant, rent aid, student aid, and a lot of other things should be or are in the Problem Solvers bill. And we need to get behind it and get it done. We've seen a lot of silliness over the last couple months, and we don't know why there's been stimulus. A lot of people have asked me, hey, like, why is this? Why this? Don't know. It's been the problem on both sides. There's a horrible, horrible group of Republicans out there that are absolutely disgraceful. I wish I knew their name because I would really slam them on this channel, that literally don't want to give you a penny of stimulus. I don't know why. It's very well documented. Grassley, who's a Republican, a top Republican, is very worried for the president because the president's at $1.5 trillion, is trying to bring the GOP up in the negotiations, bring them over 1.5. And Grassley says, I have people in my party, these, he doesn't say crazy, but I'm saying, these crazy Republicans who don't even want to come over $200,000. They're like, you know, I don't know who they are. But it's not their money, but they literally don't want to spend anything. On the other side, we have crazy Democrats, or not crazy Democrats, but Democrats who are saying crazy things. Among them is AOC. She had a crazy comment yesterday, said, our priority should be the pot bill. Our priority is the pot bill because there's a lot of Republicans who smoke pot. She literally said that. And then she said, when Nancy's at 3.4, yeah, 3.4. I don't think we should move. We should stay at 3.4 and tell them we're not moving until it's 3.4 and see us next year. I mean, it's just... as a person who came from the service industry for Raiders and help with bartenders and restaurants crumbling across the state of California, she has no sympathy for the people who need stimulus checks right now. She wants them to wait till next year. I mean, how dare her? And she wants to give them pot, like they can afford some pot. It's with that we detract our brain cells. And so what I want you to do, I want you to not focus on negativity. I want you to focus on positivity. I don't want you to focus on what Chuck says or Nancy says or AOC or those crazy Republicans, because I've just told you about everything that's out there that's going to be crazier next week, that's already crazy. I want you to just ignore it. And I want you to focus on you. You. The purpose of the Purple Power is that a lot of people don't always have emotional support, whether it's me telling a joke or me telling you you will get your EIDL grant. A lot of people don't get emotional support. And in a pandemic that's draining, a lot of people really thank others that give them emotional support. But the power of the Purple is that I'm not the only one giving you the support. It's this entire community. I see the comments for every video. The first few comments are, "Hey community, glad you're all back. Good evening to everyone." It's not just good evening to me, it's good evening to everyone. Those are incredible comments because it shows that these are people who have a similar motive, a similar focus like your own. This channel has a lot of topics, and those topics are to get people money. This channel has never been a topic of one discussion, which is, where is my check and when is it landing in my bank account? If you're the person who says, I'll believe it when it's in my checking account, delete, block, that's not the purpose of a channel, to track when something's in your bank account. Because you know what? In the universe of this pandemic, where political leaders don't want to give you anything unless you really fight for it, saying, I will believe it when it gets in my bank account means it'll never get in your bank account. It's as simple as that. Do you know how many thousands of viewers who I have that literally had gotten zero from SBA for EIDL grants and loans? If they had just sat there and said, I'll believe it when I see the EIDL grant or loan in my bank account, they would still be sitting today looking and seeing zero in their bank account. It doesn't work. Saying I will sit here and believe it when it's in my bank account means that you're essentially just putting up your feet and assuming everything around you is going to work well. That doesn't work in life. You have to always, unfortunately, push to get every penny you need in life. And you have to struggle and fight for it. Sometimes things are a little bit more cohesive and cleaner. But, in the last 48 hours, I've had wonderful comments by people who said, thank you for that video that talked about looking for grants for rent in my area. I did it. I found a grant and I applied for the grant and I went and got it. I have Kevin Lee, who applied for a grant for his rent because of this channel and got the grant, and it helped his family from being homeless. I have also Kevin Lee, who followed my initial videos on unemployment assistance. He did not give up. He followed my videos from the very first day on April 25th and ended up with almost upwards of $19,000. I have Eileen out of Florida. When PUA went live, there was no money because every state was just a hot mess. Florida was not paying out money. California, everyone had been paid. Nevada, everyone had been paid. Florida and Texas, no one was getting paid. She stayed with it. I kept her motivated. She stayed with it. She got $8,000. I had my trucker, Aaron, not gotten a penny. Stayed with me, listened to my videos, figured out what was wrong. He didn't just sit and wait for money. He realized he had done things wrong. He understood his credit history was low, so he got the credit up, got $150,000. And a $5,000 grant as well. And $5,000 grant for something else. Things come around. They absolutely come around, but they don't come around to people who do nothing. So with the spirit of the purple, you got to always push. And the push starts tomorrow morning, or tonight if you want to do it. The push starts with you hitting social media and getting behind the problem solvers. I will be tweeting out some images that has a calendar on it of in August and September that shows the date, September and October, that shows the date to get this vote done. You can use that. You can download it and retweet it. You can make your own. Hit all the politicians. Always be respectful. You don't want to get banned because you used, foul language, and get the narrative out there. The more people see that narrative, the more people repeat it. If you don't know, when press goes to write on a news story, they often go to social media and look through the tweets, and they see the comments of the tweets, and they make those tweets into a news story, embedding the actual tweets. They see your thousands and thousands of tweets a day. They see them. And so when the Temple of Doom wants to say our caucus is realigned, they don't run her quote like that anymore. You know why? Because they have quotes from the Democrats who say, we're going to do a vote next week. If there was a time to subscribe, it's tonight. Go to the Frontage channel, subscribe, and drop your comments below. We have a big run on us next week. It's going to be very exciting. And also like this video, because who's out here fighting for you tooth and nail? I still have some nails. As always, have a great evening. See you tomorrow morning, 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on Mornings L8. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, stay focused, and stay LA.